Welcome! It is Happy Hour Hug Nation on December 4th. Fa la 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 la. Before we get started, before we get into our stories, let's let go of all the stories. Let's let go of the path that brought us here. Be grateful that we're in this now, in this place, and practice being present, being mindful. Being able to be aware when you're caught up in a story and then let go of it and pull back into the now is the most precious tool that you can develop. It can give you a blank slate to appreciate the gifts that are everywhere that we lose track of as we start taking things for granted. It becomes so easy to get into a story where all you can think about is the thing that you need and you forget about all that you have. Thank you, universe, for all of our blessings. Help us to appreciate them. Fill us up with awe for all that we have to experience so that we may be filled with enthusiasm and joy and wonder, and then we can share that with the world. Amen. Okay, welcome. Few people here for the first time. Welcome. And if you've come back, well, welcome. Hug Nation is not a place, it is not a even set time. This archive could be every bit as important and valuable. It is a intention, a vibration. It is a recalibration, a remembering of who we are, and a reminder to one another that getting in alignment with what our true self is, our giving self, our loving self, is an incredibly worthwhile, if not the most worthwhile, effort for us to be working on as we're here in this lifetime. The world tries to pull us in all sorts of directions. The world tries to convince us that our role may be that of Mets fan, accountant, or otherwise. That's fine as long as we do that as a vessel of love. And so when we lose track of that, instead start to sacrifice our integrity and our righteousness of what we know to be our best selves. Maybe when we're in our right mind we know it, but we let go, we forget it, we try to get things done, and we compromise. Before we know it, we're playing a role, we're in a story that is totally separate from who we really are. So we take this opportunity to get back at least once a week. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for helping me to recalibrate. It is an honor and a treat to share this time with you. Today, we talked about this afternoon, and I'm just going to probably tell the same story again. The theme of the day is lessons, and that lessons are everywhere. Lessons are all around. And I was going to share a little story that happened to me this week as an example. So, I had some new, I'm like, coffee, coconut water, hydration! I'm not sure if I have some new neighbors that moved in across the way, or maybe they have some new habits, maybe they, relapsed, I'm not sure. But I live on a canyon, and which is wonderful, I love it. So in the front of my house it looks just like, a regular street, but in the back it kind of goes down to this canyon, and it's very secluded. However, it's not a very big canyon, so I can see all the way to the other side, and I can see the people that live there, and they can see me. More importantly, we can hear one another. And that is normally not a big deal. It's a little bit of a big deal when the neighbors over there, their chickens start to get all wacky, cockadoodle, hello, nice to make sure you know I'm here, do. But a few nights ago, like midnight till 1, 2 in the morning, there was some really loud talking from the other side, and I thought there was fighting going on. Maybe some people were getting, looked like they were divorcing or something. And I opened the windows and I kind of try to figure out. The tone sounds really angry, but then I'm like, wait, I think they're just wasted. No, I told you, no, I told him, I said, no, I said, that's what I know. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm totally gonna do that. Yeah, I know. And it was, so I'm like, whatever, that's cool. I'm of the mind that, when you live in a city, being a neighbor is part of it, and you can't expect people to be quiet. Now, you do, however, I think have the I think it's okay to expect that those kind of things are occasional. That if you want to have a weekend thing, or every once in a while you have parties, great. But if you're frequently being that kind of voice, then well, maybe that's a little bit something to talk about. But I also believe that there's no reason, until I tell them that it's a problem, they should assume that it's not. I'm a big believer that in neighbor interactions, I don't want to be always wondering if my stereo is too loud and if they never even notice it. So I try to, whenever I have a new neighbor situation, go, hey, I'm going to assume that nothing I do bothers you unless you say something. And so here's my number, here's my email, and vice versa. So whatever. Okay, so second night in a row that it is like drunken loud on their back patio. I'm like, maybe I should say something. I would guess that they have no idea, because they're in their backyard. All they see is canyon. They probably don't know how I can hear everything they're saying. Like if they were planning a bank heist, I would call the cops. Wait, I've been watching a lot of Sons of Anarchy, so maybe I would not be a rat. Separate topic. But they, so it didn't bother me that much, but then I woke up, I went to sleep early and kind of woke up at 1 a.m. and this loud stuff's happening. And I noticed that Delicious was awake as well. And suddenly it intensified my frustration with it, Like, it's one thing to have to deal with something yourself, but when you feel responsible for someone else, it really, this hunter-gatherer caveman thing kicked in. I was like, I must provide safe, quiet shelter for my woman. Oh! So I went outside, 1 a.m. I'm wearing my tighty-whitey underwear. And I go out kind of like my stairs and I can't really see, I don't know what neighbor it is. I kind of know the general direction because I can hear them. La, 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 la. And I'm like, there's really no break in the talking. So I'm like, well, I'm getting a little nervous, because just getting the energy to yell at the top of my lungs is like, okay. Let's use our indoor voices! And their conversation just keep going, just loud. They didn't hear me at all. I'm like, okay. So I walk down into the backyard, I'm all riled up and then I walk in down to the area where this kind of, we've got a time, or like a motion sensor light that turns on, and as the stairs go down. So I go down into the kind of canyon, the motion, so I'm under the spotlight in my tidy whities, and I yell up, Happy neighbor! Happy neighbor! Can we use our indoor voices? And they didn't hear me at all. They were still in the, no, seriously, what? No, part of me was like, I want to party with those guys. Another time, perhaps. So, I decided maybe I'll do is, I'll see how much it's bothering B if she's really having trouble sleeping, because she has a lot going on lately, and her sleep has been really kind of precious, and I felt really badly, and so I was, well, if she's having a problem, maybe I'll walk around the block to figure out which house it is. And but I get up into the room, and she's out cold. Didn't bother her at all. So here I had this inflated story about the importance of this quest, when really it was minor. So I'm like, okay, well, all right. I'm now shaking because I'd got myself all psyched up for this confrontation, and I yelled at the top of my lungs. And now I'm like, okay, all right. 10 minutes ago, I was asleep. Now I'm wide awake, adrenaline, fight or flight. So I'm like, okay, so I'll deal with it in the morning, and maybe I'll write up a little note and hand it out, because I don't know what house it's going to be. So I'll just kind of hand it out to everybody and say, hey, I don't want to be a fuddy-dud, but maybe, I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to sound like, I don't sometimes, I have barbecues, and sometimes I'm loud, so okay, so what I'm going to say is, and I'm in bed, and I'm writing the note out, no, okay, maybe I'll word it like this, and then I'm like, okay, should I get up and actually write the note? I don't want to forget, okay, no, I was like, okay, I'm totally, like, in my head about this. So, and I'm unhappy, and I'm stressed, and I'm at war in my head. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Time to go to work. So I start going back to the things that I know about when my thoughts are causing me suffering. And the first thing I do is snap into reality, snap into the now moment, snap into what is happening right now. And so if I let go of this story, of this note, and these neighbors, and this situation, and this frustration, and this conflict, and I go, what's real right now? I'm in a comfortable bed, snuggling with my beautiful, amazing lover. And off in the distance is some mild chatter. But without the story, it's a teeny tiny detail in an otherwise blissful, perfect moment. I was like, oh my gosh, how quickly that went. How quickly I went from war to what changed? Being disciplined about my thoughts, being aware of the story that was not serving me, these thoughts that were causing me all this pain. And then to make it even better, I was like, well, what if I try to actually change my reality to make this better instead of trying to change the world? So I looked for some earplugs and I couldn't find any. And then I turned on my fan. I have like an air conditioner. And I just set it to fan with no cooling. And it suddenly my room fills up with and I can't hear them at all. 10 minutes ago, deep sleep. 5 minutes ago, ready to go to war. Now, happy, calm, blissful, appreciative of the now, and filled up with lessons. Now, if I could talk to the dean of Universe Lessons, I'd ask if I could maybe reschedule my lessons to daytime in the future. But I don't mean to be a obnoxious student. I appreciate all the opportunities to learn. But it was I think it was a good practice, and it was a good reminder that sometimes just taking that, noticing that there's suffering going on that's caused by thoughts, and then trying to go, is there something I can be getting from this? Is there a way I can use my tools? Is there a lesson in here? Is there, how can I, why is this happening to me? And not why is this happening like in the grand, why is this specific circumstance, but why am I having any sort of challenge? Because clearly everything that happens in life is part of the journey, and if we can switch from a obstacle to lesson, it makes it so much easier to handle and so much more, it's got less of a story attached to it that is negative and causes frustration and causes suffering. Instead, it's like, oh, all right, paperwork, it's testing time. Okay, I can do this. And I think another thing that is good to remember is that in that situation, I was able to get to the lessons, get to the learning before I even went back to bed. And I kind of had to because I was unable to get to sleep. So thank goodness it worked out so nicely. Wow. But sometimes the lesson is not so quick to happen. Sometimes you're in the middle of the suffering or the challenges, and it's tough to see why, where, how this could be of any benefit. And this afternoon I was telling the story about, I was talking to my friend Johnny Quest recently about this crazy girlfriend I had, 10 years ago, and as I told these stories, he kept asking me these questions and pointing out these things, and after talking to him for 20 minutes about this, I was like, oh my gosh, there was these amazing lessons in this experience that I had with this woman. This relationship was filled with growth things, and whether I saw them at the time or not, looking back 10 years later, oh my gosh, I could see it. And more in life, I can see how negative things are only negative if you are unable to find the lessons in them. You're unable to find new appreciation for things in them. And so even if you don't see them as they're happening or don't see them right away, you start to build up a faith based on experience that you know that there is going to be a good, there is going to be a good, there is going to be a good, there is going to be a good. I'm going to figure this out. It's going to make sense to me. I'm going to laugh and be grateful for this experience in some way. And that in and of itself, I think, can ease the pain of this frustrating, anxiety-producing now, as well as ease some of the guilt of being frustrated. Because that's the 1-2 punch. You have a situation that's bugging you, and then you go, really? I can't let this go? Oh, I'm such a loser! So, during this afternoon's broadcast, we had all sorts of technical problems as we were getting going. I am sure there's... You know what? Actually, the lesson was there once again, just to let go. Try not to get too attached to the way I thought it was supposed to happen. That's one of those lessons that I think that... I wish we could get like some sort of certificate. You could like flash a bag. Oh, no. I already learned non-attachment and letting go. You don't have to punish me on this one. You don't have to take that away from me. You don't have to make me wait for that. I'm good. I'd actually just like to keep going. And they go, you are revoked! Sit down! Wait until we teach you once again. So hopefully you're learning a lot of lessons. We're going to try to go into some of the question of the day lessons that people are sharing after the hug. So let's have a hug. Grab yourself by the shoulders. This body, this classroom, this perspective of consciousness and time and space that allows us to have challenges and learn lessons and have experiences and get caught up in stories and then pull back to the now and caught up in obstacles and pulled back to the lessons and caught up in frustration and pull back to joy, or maybe moved through to joy. So we get better and better at seeing that joy that's there at all times. And we gotta know that when we run into someone who is in their frustration, in their anger, sees us as obstacles, we need to remind ourselves not to be angry or frustrated with them, but to see them just as they are a expression of us, as we do those same things. And the more it triggers us, the more it is probably a reflection and a lesson and an opportunity for us to say, oh, I am so angry about this because I have a lot to learn about showing up, about forgiveness, about being true to my word, about valuing blank, 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 whatever the lesson is. But if it's really pissing you off in someone else, that is your glaring, flashing neon sign saying, there are lessons here. This person is a teacher. You cannot pray for forgiveness, for the ability to forgive and then just get it. Instead, the universe gives you people that wrong you so that you can practice it. You can't pray for patience and be given it. You pray for patience, you get opportunities to learn. Yay! So as we squeeze and we acknowledge that we are all going through our stuff, we're going to learn to see ourselves and others, appreciate their challenges and love them. See that deep down seed of pure love light that is in all of us. And as we allow ours to shine brighter and brighter, hopefully it illuminates all those around us and inspires other lights to brighten and shine. So let's take a few breaths together, 3 breaths, as that one glowing, pulsing, vibrant love energy. Inhale. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the Love Warriors, happy Hug Nation. Thank you for being you and shining your light, for taking on the tasks and obstacles, finding the lessons, riding the ride. and enjoying the consciousness that you are. You are connected to us all. You are a gift to us all. As you shine your light, it shines and illuminates all of us. So, namaste. I love you.